Hello there. This is An Architect Goes to Law School. Today we'll start a 7-video series about contracts. Contracts is usually a 2-semester course in law school. This is likely due to contracts being ubiquitous in personal and business life. Also, there are the laws and legal precedents controlling the drafting, execution, and litigation of contracts. Some of the topics covered in contracts classes are creation of contractual obligations, contract interpretation, how to enforce promises, how to change contracts, the statute of frauds, legal excuses for non-performance, breach of contract, and remedies for breach of contract claims. Contracts class videos will discuss some of the concepts I just listed, with some left out because this is law school for architects, not lawyers. To be an effective architect, by which I mean one who understands the legal concepts underlying and controlling the practice of architecture, you certainly don't need to be a lawyer or have gone to law school. For success in the practice of architecture, architects should have more than a simple working knowledge of contracts for multiple reasons. Primarily, architecture firms depend on the contracts they enter into with their clients for the payment for the architect's professional services. Secondarily, architects use contracts in creating and managing professional relationships with their subcontractors, such as mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural engineers, and interior designers. Architecture firms also use contracts for the everyday operations of the firm, office space and equipment leases, loans from banks for working capital, etc. The core of a contract is its creation of contractual obligations. Simplistically, a contract is the promises made by at least two parties whereby each party immediately engages in or promises to engage in an agreed upon action. A valid contract has 3 elements. First, one party makes an offer describing each party's promises. Second, the other party must accept the offer as stated. Third, those promises must concern something of value, the legal terminology for which is consideration. This offer and acceptance concept is also known as a meeting of the minds. This means that all the parties involved in the drafting and execution of the contract have agreed to the important terms of the contract. Contracts can be written or spoken, with some limitations preventing the enforcement of some oral contracts. Along with understanding what elements are necessary for the creation of an enforceable contract, architects should understand how contracts are utilized and interpreted in order to better draft, edit, and negotiate them. The principles of contract interpretation are that certain words have specific meanings and uses. A contract, particularly a well-drafted one, may contain a definitions section so that the parties agree on the contract's possibly ambiguous words' meanings. Alternatively, contract interpretation can be accomplished by drawing on statutory guidelines and the wide body of contract jurisprudence to understand what a contract's words mean. Contracts in the wider construction industry, including those created and/or used by architects, include clauses about allocation of risks and responsibilities because risk allocation should be a major aspect of such contracts. Good contracts allow for the parties to know what to do if certain events that directly lead to other events, do occur. Some examples of these triggering events are minor breaches of the contract, material breaches, and even intermediate necessary steps in the normal execution of the contract's terms. For example, delivery of the design documentation phase drawings may be a condition precedent to the client paying the architect's invoice. Well-drafted contracts will contemplate and write down such triggering events, allocating risk as the parties agree upon. Feel free to comment, ask questions, and suggest topics you'd like me to discuss. Next up in contracts class, we'll talk about dispute resolution clauses. Thank you for watching. An Architect Goes to Law School.